DSPy implements a utility-based toolkit for flight booking and customer service operations through a collection of modular functions. These functions encapsulate core operations such as fetching flight information, managing itineraries, and handling user profiles, forming the foundational layer for an airline customer service agent. The upcoming code will reveal how these utility functions are structured, including their input parameters, return types, and the logic governing their interactions with simulated databases. You'll observe the initialization of helper methods like generated for creating unique identifiers, alongside the definition of core operations such as fetch flight info, book flight, and cancel itinerary, each designed to interface seamlessly with the broader agent framework.
Import random. Import string. Def fetch flight info date origin, SDR destination, SDR. Fetch flight information from origin to destination on the given date. Flights equals. For flighted, flight in flight database items. If flight date time year equals date year. And flight date time month equals date month. And flight date time day equals date dot. And flight origin equals origin. And flight destination equals destination. Flights append flight. If len flights equals 0. Raise value error, no matching flight found. Return flights. Def fetch itinerary confirmation number, SDR. Fetch a booked itinerary information from database. Return itinerary database. Get confirmation number. Def pick flights, list flight. Pick up the best flight that matches user's request. We pick the shortest and cheaper one on ties. Sorted flights equals sorted. Flights. Key equals lambda x. X, get duration if is instance x, dict else x duration. X, get price if is instance x, dict else x price. Return sorted flight 0. Def generate id length equals 8. Chars equals string ASCII lowercase plus string digits. Return join random choice chars k equals. Def book flight user profile. Book a flight on behalf of the user. Confirmation number equals generated. While confirmation number in itinerary database. Confirmation number equals generated. Itinerary database confirmation number equals itinerary. Confirmation number equals confirmation number. User profile equals user profile. Flight equals flight. Return confirmation number. Itinerary database confirmation number. Def cancel itinerary confirmation number. SDR user profile. Cancel an itinerary on behalf of the user. If confirmation number in itinerary database. Del itinerary database confirmation number. Return. Raise value error. Cannot find the itinerary. Please check your confirmation number. Def get user info name. SDR. Fetch the user profile from database with given name. Return user database. Get name. Def file ticket user request. SDR user profile. File a customer support ticket if this is something the agent cannot handle. Ticketed equals generate id length equals 6. Ticket database ticket ID equals ticket. User request equals user request. User profile equals user profile. Return ticketed.
This code implements a set of utility functions for flight booking and customer service operations designed to work within a DSPy ReAct agent framework. The functions handle core operations like fetching flight information, booking flights, managing itineraries, and handling customer support tickets. The implementation follows a clean separation of concerns, with each function responsible for a specific task. Fetch flight info retrieves available flights based on date and route parameters, while pick flight uses a sorting mechanism to select the optimal flight based on duration and price. The booking process is handled by BookFlight, which generates unique confirmation numbers and stores itinerary details. For customer service, Cancel Itinerary and File Ticket provide mechanisms to handle modifications and escalations. The design uses Python-type hints and docstrings consistently, which is crucial for the DSPy framework to understand and utilize these tools effectively. The generated helper function creates unique identifiers for bookings and tickets, ensuring no collisions occur. Error handling is implemented for cases like missing flights or invalid confirmation numbers, providing clear feedback to the calling agent. This utility-focused approach allows the ReAct agent to compose these functions into complex workflows while maintaining clean separation between business logic and agent orchestration. Let's break it down.
Import random.
Imports Python's built-in random module for generating pseudorandom numbers and performing random operations like shuffling sequences or selecting random elements.
Import string.
Imports Python's built-in string module, which provides constants and utility functions for working with ASCII characters and strings.
Def fetch flight info date origin, SDR destination, SDR. Fetch flight information from origin to destination on the given date.
Defines a function named fetchFlightInfo that takes 3 parameters: a date object and 2 strings representing the origin and destination locations. The function is documented to retrieve flight information for a specific route on a given date, though the implementation details are not visible in this segment.
Flights equals.
Initializes an empty list named flights to store flight-related data.
For flighted, flight in flight database items.
Iterates through each key value pair in the flight database dictionary, where flighted represents the key, likely a flight identifier, and flight represents the corresponding value flight data or object. This is the standard Python way to loop through dictionary items, unpacking both the key and value in each iteration.
Flight date time year equals date year. And flight date time month equals date month. And flight date time day equals date dot.
Checks if the flight's date and time exactly match the specified date by comparing year, month, and day components. The condition evaluates to true only when all 3 components year, month, and day of the flight's data time object are identical to those of the target date object.
And flight origin equals origin.
Checks if the flight's origin matches the specified origin value. This is a Boolean comparison that evaluates to true when the flight's origin attribute equals the origin variable, typically used in filtering or conditional logic for flight data.
And flight destination equals destination.
Checks if the destination attribute of the flight object equals the specified destination value. This is a Boolean comparison that evaluates to true when the flight's destination matches the given destination and false otherwise.
Flights append flight.
Appends the flight object to the flights list, adding it as the last element in the collection. This modifies the list in place by extending its length by 1.
If len flights equals 0. Raise value error, no matching flight found.
Checks if the flights collection is empty and raises a value error with the message, no matching flight found, if no flights are present. This enforces that at least one flight must exist in the collection before proceeding, failing explicitly with a descriptive error when the condition isn't met.
Return flights.
Returns the flights variable from the current function or method. This line exits the function and passes the value stored in flights back to the caller. The specific content of flights isn't visible in this segment, but the line itself demonstrates a standard return statement in Python.
Def fetch itinerary confirmation number, SDR. Fetch a booked itinerary information from database.
Defines a function named fetch itinerary that takes a single string parameter, confirmation number, and includes a docstring indicating it retrieves booked itinerary information from a database. The function signature shows it expects a confirmation number as input, but doesn't reveal implementation details or return type.
Return itinerary database. Get confirmation number.
Retrieves the itinerary associated with the provided confirmation number from the itinerary database. The get method is called on the itinerary database object, passing the confirmation number as the key to fetch the corresponding record. This operation returns the itinerary data if the confirmation number exists in the database, or none, or raises an exception if it does not.
Def pick flights, list flight. Pick up the best flight that matches user's request. We pick the shortest and cheaper one on ties.
Defines a function named pickFlight that takes a list of flight objects as input. The docstring indicates this function selects the optimal flight based on two criteria: shortest duration first and lowest price when durations are equal.
Sorted flights equals sorted. Flights.
Sorts the flights collection in ascending order by default, creating a new list called sorted flights that contains the sorted elements. The sorted function returns a new list without modifying the original flights collection.
Key equals lambda x. X, get duration if is instance x, dict else x duration.
Defines a lambda function for sorting that extracts the duration value from each item. For dictionary items, it retrieves the value associated with the duration key using the get method. For non-dictionary objects, it accesses the duration attribute directly. This creates a consistent sorting key that works with both dictionary and object representations of items.
X, get price if is instance x, dict else x price.
This line safely extracts a price value from variable x using different access patterns depending on its type. If x is a dictionary, it retrieves the value associated with the price key using x, get price. If x is not a dictionary, it assumes x is an object with a price attribute and accesses it directly via xprice. The comma at the end suggests this is part of a larger expression, likely in a list comprehension or generator.
Returns sorted flight 0.
Returns the first element from the sorted flights list, which is the flight with the highest priority or earliest departure time based on the sorting criteria applied earlier. This assumes sorted flights is a pre-sorted list where the most relevant flight is at index 0.
Def generate id length equals 8. Chars equals string ASCII lowercase plus string digits. Return, join random choice chars k equals.
Defines a function, generated, that creates a random alphanumeric string of specified length default 8 characters. Combines lowercase letters and digits into a character pool, then selects length, random characters from it to form the ID string. The function returns this generated string as the output.
Def book flight. Flight user profile. Book a flight on behalf of the user.
Defines a function named bookFlight that takes two parameters: a flight object of type flight and a user profile object of type user profile. The function's purpose, as indicated by the docstring, is to book a flight on behalf of the user. The implementation details of how the booking is performed are not visible in this segment.
Confirmation number equals generated.
Calls the generated function and assigns its return value to the variable confirmation number. The function appears to generate a unique identifier, which is then stored in confirmation number for later use.
While confirmation number in itinerary database.
Checks if the value of confirmation number exists as a key in the itinerary database dictionary. The loop will continue executing as long as this condition remains true.
Itinerary database confirmation number equals itinerary.
Adds a new entry to the itinerary database dictionary using confirmation number as the key and creates a new itinerary object as the value. The line demonstrates storing a travel itinerary record in a database-like structure, where each itinerary is accessible by its unique confirmation number.
Confirmation number equals confirmation number.
Passes the confirmation number variable as a keyword argument to a function or method call, assigning its current value to the parameter named confirmation number. This maintains the same identifier for clarity and ensures the receiving function gets the expected data.
User profile equals user profile.
Passes the user profile variable as a keyword argument to a function or method call. This suggests the receiving function expects a parameter named user profile that will use the value stored in this variable, likely for processing user-specific data or configuration. The line itself doesn't show what happens with this data, only that it's being forwarded to another component.
Flight equals flight.
Passes the flight variable as a keyword argument to a function or method call. The line demonstrates parameter passing where the value of flight is being assigned to a parameter named flight in the function's signature. This is a straightforward argument binding that ensures the function receives the current value of the flight variable.
Return confirmation number. Itinerary database confirmation number.
Returns the confirmation number and the corresponding itinerary data from the itinerary database using the confirmation number as the lookup key.
Def cancel itinerary confirmation number. SDR user profile. User profile. Cancel an itinerary on behalf of the user.
Defines a function named cancel itinerary that takes two parameters, a string confirmation number and a user profile object user profile. The function is documented to cancel an itinerary on behalf of the user, though the implementation details are not visible in this segment.
If confirmation number in itinerary database.
Checks if the confirmation number exists as a key in the itinerary database dictionary. This is a membership test that evaluates to true if the confirmation number is found in the database, allowing the program to proceed with operations that depend on a valid itinerary record. The condition will be false if the confirmation number isn't present, typically triggering alternative logic for handling invalid or missing records.
Del itinerary database confirmation number.
Removes the entry associated with confirmation number from the itinerary database dictionary. This operation permanently deletes the key value pair where the key matches the provided confirmation number, effectively removing that itinerary record from the database.
Raise value error. Cannot find the itinerary. Please check your confirmation number.
Raises a value error with the message, cannot find the itinerary, please check your confirmation number, when the specified condition, likely a failed itinerary lookup, occurs. This is an explicit error handling mechanism that halts execution and provides user-facing guidance about the issue.
Def get user info name, SDR. Fetch the user profile from database with given name.
Defines a function named getUserInfo that takes a single string parameter name and includes a docstring indicating it fetches a user profile from a database based on the provided name. The function signature shows it expects a string input, but doesn't reveal implementation details or return type.
Return user database, getName.
Retrieves the user record associated with the provided name from the user database collection. The method call returns whatever value or object is stored under that key in the database, which could be a user profile, configuration, or any other stored data structure. If the name doesn't exist in the database, the behavior depends on the database implementation. It might return none, raise an exception, or return a default value.
Def file ticket user request, SDR user profile, user profile. File a customer support ticket if this is something the agent cannot handle.
Defines a function named fileTicket that takes two parameters, a string user request and a user profile object user profile. The function's purpose is to create a customer support ticket when the agent cannot handle the request, as indicated by the docstring.
Ticketed equals generate id length equals 6.
Calls the generated function with a length parameter set to 6, then assigns the returned value to the variable ticketed. This generates a unique identifier of 6 characters and stores it for later use.
Ticket database ticket ID equals ticket.
Assigns a new ticket instance to the ticket database dictionary at the key specified by ticketed. The ticket object is being constructed with parameters that would be visible in the complete line, though they're truncated in this segment. This operation stores the ticket in the database with its unique identifier for later retrieval.
User request equals user request.
Passes the user request variable as a keyword argument to a function or method call. The line demonstrates parameter passing where user request is explicitly assigned to a parameter of the same name in the receiving function.
Return ticketed.
Returns the value of the variable ticketed from the current scope, making it available to the caller of this function or method. This is a simple return statement that exits the function and passes back the ticket identifier that was presumably generated or processed earlier in the function. This utility toolkit demonstrates a clean separation of concerns through modular functions that handle flight booking and customer service operations. The core workflow begins with Fetch Flight Info, which filters flights by date, origin, and destination, then passes results to Pick Flight for optimal selection based on duration and price. Booking is handled by Book Flight, which generates unique confirmation numbers via generated and stores itineraries in a database. The same ID generation pattern appears in fileTicket, creating consistent identifiers across different operations. Error handling is implemented throughout, with explicit value error exceptions for missing flights or invalid confirmation numbers. The design emphasizes composability, allowing these utility functions to integrate seamlessly with a DSPy ReAct agent framework while maintaining clear boundaries between business logic and agent orchestration.
The decorator packs the flight, but the function boards first. Who carries the confirmation number?